Today is the day. It's the day that I harvest the very first of my calabash cabbages. The cabbage is actually quite sweet, and then there's a tartness to it with the lemon and the balsamic vinegar. Except I couldn't get any chestnuts, so it's all of the above minus the chestnuts. Today is the day. It's the day that I harvest the very first of my calabash cabbages. Now, the one at the front looks nice and plump, so I'm going to cut it out and remove the outer leaves and see what we've got. But if you've followed me for some time, you will have realised by now that I do not like cabbages. I've not eaten them in years. Except for this year, I've been trying to make myself like them. It's been a struggle, but I think my school days put me off of that many years ago. When I was growing up, cabbage used to be boiled to death, and it used to be mushy and stink, and I've just not got good memories of it at all. So this is quite a challenge for me. So let's see what we've got. So I need to get this netting up. So just look at this beauty. I love the colours and the purple veins. Now I can't see any caterpillars. Right, so let's get this one cut down. Cool. So I'm going to start by removing the outer leaves. God, they're quite tough. I don't know how far you're supposed to go. I think to where it is quite compact. I think probably that will do. It smells quite nice. Now it needs a good wash because there has been some caterpillar activity, but that's pretty dense. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. So this morning I'm going to make a classic, which is pickled red cabbage, and for that I'm going to need my red wine, some cider vinegar, I've got salt and pepper, so I've got peppercorns and coarse sea salt, some mustard seeds, bay leaves, sugar, a sterilised jar, and the star of the show, the calabash cabbage. So the first thing I need to do is to shred this cabbage up finely. So I'm just going to look at that, isn't that pretty? It says to shred it finely, so that's what I'm attempting to do. So I need to sprinkle this with salt and leave it for 2 to 3 hours. Now I do love a pickle, and it seemed only natural that if I'm going to be experimenting with cabbage that I do a pickled red cabbage. So earlier today I prepped the shredded cabbage, which you saw earlier, it's had a sprinkling of salt and it's sat for just over 3 hours. Now I've rinsed it off thoroughly and patted it dry, and I've just prepared all my ingredients. So let me show you what I've got and what I'm going to do next. So I really didn't want to go over the top with this because I'm not sure I'm going to like it, so I didn't want to make too much. So I've reduced everything, or the quantities, by 50%. So I've got 250 grams of the shredded cabbage. I've got 250 ml of the cider vinegar and 100 ml of red wine. I've got 3 bay leaves and a teaspoon of peppercorns and 179 grams of the sugar. So I'm going to put these in the pan and put them on a simmer until they're reduced by half. So this has had about half an hour. It's reduced nicely and it's beginning to thicken. Now I'm straining it through this bag to remove the bay leaves and the peppercorns. And the next thing I need to do is to combine the cabbage with the liquid and then add some mustard seeds and mix thoroughly. Now this is a tricky bit. I got more on the counter than in the jar. And there you have it, pickled red cabbage. So one of my favourite lunches is a nice salad, and one of my favourite cheeses is Feta cheese. So I was really thrilled to find a recipe that incorporated the red cabbage or pink cabbage and the Feta. So it's been another hot day and I don't really want to be cooking because it's just too hot in the kitchen. So I've come out here. I've got all my ingredients to do this cabbage and feta salad. So let me talk you through what I've got. I've got some olive oil, some balsamic vinegar, salt and pepper. I've got some carrots that I saved from the garden, a lemon, and the smallest of the cabbages, and a little bit of parsley. So the first thing I need to do is to shred up this cabbage and put it in this bowl. So make myself a bit of room. So I'm going to cut this, or shred this cabbage up. Now, what it does say is that when you're preparing this, you need to massage the cabbage, which I guess is bruising it really, and it tenderises it a bit. So I'm going to put all that in my bowl. And then it says add a drizzle of olive oil, so it's only a little bit of the lemon juice to start with, and then it suggests that you bruise it up a bit. So that's been bruised for 5 minutes. The next thing I need to do is to cut up my feta. So I've already got this. So we'll have So I'm going to put my feta in there. And then it says cut the carrots up into fine strips. So I'm not the greatest chef. My knife skills are not great. Not brilliant. So I want a teaspoon of balsamic vinegar. So 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And half the juice of a lemon. And it wants some pepper. And some salt. And mix this dressing up. Right, it's time to try it. So I've reserved some lemon slices. So I've given everything a really good mix. I need something to eat it with, don't I? I've forgot my knife and fork. Time to try it. So it's got a nice crunch. The cabbage is actually quite sweet, and then there's a tartness to it with the lemon and the balsamic vinegar. That is a really nice combination actually. I definitely have this over and over again. I think it would be better with maybe a crusty roll or a panini. I haven't got either. And even a glass of wine, but it's a bit early in the day for me to be drinking wine. But yeah, this is lovely. Overall, this is a success. So in my kitchen, and I'm now going to make a crumbled sausage, cabbage and chestnut pan fry. Except I couldn't get any chestnuts. So it's all of the above minus the chestnuts. Let me show you the ingredients. Now I will put a link to the recipe in the description below, but the ingredients are as follows. I need some sausages, and I've chosen some caramelised red onion and pork sausages. I've got my calabash cabbage, a bottle of red wine, some fennel seeds, honey, olive oil, raisins, some garlic from the garden and sage leaves from the garden, and a chicken stock. Prepared all my ingredients. I've broken up the 4 sausages. I've shredded my cabbage. I've measured out my garlic, sage and fennel seeds and the raisins. I've got 300 ml of chicken stock and 300 ml of red wine. And I've just put some olive oil in this pan to heat, and I'm now going to fry these sausages until they're golden. So they're nicely brown now, so I'm going to add the cabbage. The fennel leaves, the sage and the garlic. So let's try it. So I'm going to have a little bit of the sausage. I've served it with mash and some of the cabbage. See what it's like. That's actually quite tasty. I think it would be better with the chestnuts. That would give it a further depth of flavour. But let's just try this bit of cabbage. Yeah, it's very nice. Would I make it again? I might do. It's not going to be one of my regular meals, but it's very nice. Well, that was quite a challenge, but I'm actually really pleased with the outcome. It was pretty successful. My mind has changed, and I can honestly say now that I do like cabbage. I think the recipes were flavoursome, there was texture, there was interest, and they certainly weren't boring like the slop I remember as a child. So that got me thinking, what is your vegetable nemesis? Do you have something that you've disliked all your life but you're trying to overcome? And if you have, how did you do it? Please leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And one other thing, I've got one calabash left growing in the garden. So if you've got any suggestions of how I should use it, then again, please leave me a comment. That's it for now. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. If you are new to my channel, then please consider subscribing, and I will see you all in the next one. I'm Annie, and this is my kitchen garden.